question. How many of us out here, when we were growing up, used to get into fights with our siblings? Seems to be a pretty common thing amongst people as they're growing up. There's this sibling rivalry that people have. They get into fights, they bicker. But the thing is, for my older brother Danny and me, we never had this sibling rivalry. We never fought, we never bickered. But at the same time, we were never really that close we were never that close. And we never bonded over anything in particular. It was always he lived in his world and I in mine. That is until about one day, 3 years ago, when my brother and I decided to change our lives and our relationship for the better. And that was the day that we went vegan. And through these past 3 years, my brother and I have learned that going vegan is the best possible thing that we can do for the earth, for the animals, and our own health. I'd like to show you today how and why we can save the world, one vegetable at a time. So how did this whole vegan thing start anyways? Well, one summer, my brother came home from college to tell my family that he had decided to go vegetarian. And soon after, my family was contriving all sorts of odd, ethnic vegetarian meals to suit my brother's changed taste buds. Not long after that, my brother decided to change his diet from vegetarian to vegan. And for any of you that are wondering, vegans choose not to eat any sort of meat, eggs, fish, cheese, dairy products, any animal products of any sort. Vegans do not eat. So my brother had been vegan for a few months, and he started telling me about all the amazing benefits that he was experiencing on this lifestyle. And I had never even considered giving up meat before. It had always been something that was a part of my life. But after hearing all the amazing things that my brother had gained from being vegan, I decided, hey, maybe I'll give it a try too. And if I like it, then I'll stick with it. And if I don't, then I'll just go back to my old eating ways. But after being vegan for a little while, I was like, hey, this is amazing. And I started to look into why I should be vegan and why I should be eating this way. And one of the first things I discovered is that going vegan can actually save the earth. As many of you may know, we're in a world water crisis today. There's simply too many of us and not enough fresh water to go around. And this may seem like some sort of unsolvable problem, but the truth of the matter is, if we all went vegan, we would be able to save a huge amount of water. How so? Well, if every person replaced 1 pound of beef with 1 pound of potatoes, they would be able to save over 12,000 gallons of water. And this is just for 1 pound of beef and 1 person. Now, if we were all to do that, we would be able to save an immense amount of water and thus solve the world water crisis. Aside from this, going vegan can also end world hunger. Again, how so? Well, out of all the cereal grains that are grown in the United States today, 72% of them go to feeding livestock. And of all the land on this earth today, 30% of it goes to growing food to then feed livestock. If all of us chose to not eat meat, we could use this 30% of the land, this 72% of the cereal grains, to then feed to people who actually need it. And thus, we could help end world hunger. And if this isn't enough, going vegan can also reduce global warming. As I mentioned earlier, raising livestock requires a lot of land because you have to grow the food for the livestock. And where does this land come from? Well, it's a result of deforestation. We have to cut down trees. And this means we go from a lush tropical forest like this to something arid, dry, and not biodiverse like this. And because of this, that means that there are fewer trees that can then absorb the greenhouse gases that we emit into the atmosphere. Thus, more global warming. And because of this, about 18% of the effects of global warming are due to the livestock industry. And this may not seem like a lot, but this is more than any emission from any car or train or plane. Going vegan can actually save the earth. And as many of you know, it can also save the animals. And I knew this too before I went vegan, but I didn't realize just how much it can save the animals. In the next 30 seconds, 200 cows will be inhumanely slaughtered. In the next 30 seconds, 450 sheep will be taken against their will and put to death. In the next 30 seconds, 600 turkeys will gobble no longer. In the next 30 seconds, 1,000 pigs will never see the light of day again. In the next 30 seconds, 40,000 chickens will be murdered, ripped apart, and served up on our plates. In the next 365 days, over 150 billion innocent creatures will be slaughtered around the world. It's easy to forget, with the convenience of grocery stores in our daily lives, the amount of injustice and cruelty that goes into serving up that sirloin steak, that cheeseburger on our plate. Humans are compassionate by nature. Put a baby in a room with a lamb and a banana, see which one he eats, and see which one he plays with. These innocent creatures behind me, they don't deserve to die. They don't deserve to become that next meal on our plate. And if one person were to go vegan, we could save over 900 of these innocent creatures every year. And going vegan can also improve our health tremendously. Many people, after adopting a vegan diet, have been able to reduce or completely eliminate a series of health ailments in the world. This includes things like heart disease and cancer, two of the biggest killers in the United States today. Everything from head to toe can be healed by a vegan diet. Your organs, your bones, your skin, your brain, everything, it can be helped just by eating more plant foods. In my own life, I've experienced some amazing benefits. One of the best of these was my increased energy levels. Every day before I went vegan, in the afternoon, I would experience a sort of brain fog, where I'd just be really tired and not thinking as clearly, and I'd just kind of want to take a nap. But after going vegan, I no longer had this brain fog. I particularly remember sitting in math one day, and let's just say my math teacher wasn't Alex the rapper. Anyways, I was sitting in math, and it was the afternoon, so normally around the time where I'd be getting really tired. But at that moment, I noticed that I wasn't tired, and my mental clarity was just so much better. And after putting two and two together, I realized that this was because I had been eating cleaner. Aside from energy levels and increased mental clarity, I've also improved my skin. I rarely get sick anymore. I do a lot better in school. But most of all, veganism has given me a stronger connection to nature and Mother Earth and the animals and my friends and family. It's improved my overall quality of life. So veganism is so great for our health and the earth and the animals. Why aren't more people adopting this lifestyle? And through these 3 years, I've learned that this is because there are a lot of common misconceptions about the vegan diet. One of the most common things I hear when I tell people I'm a vegan is that, oh, vegans don't get enough protein, and you can't be an athlete as a vegan because you need protein. Well, yeah, this is true, we need protein, but the statement that vegans don't get enough protein is simply false. All plants have protein, and as long as we eat a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, we can get all the essential amino acids that we need to thrive. Some of the plants with the highest amount of protein include things like broccoli and kale and lettuce, all these ranging between 30 to 56% protein. And to put this into perspective, human breast milk has about 9 to 10% protein. Now this is the stuff that feeds babies that are growing at a super rapid rate and obviously need a lot of protein to thrive. So if babies can thrive on 9 to 10% protein, then vegans can too. common misconception that I hear when I tell people I'm vegan is that, oh, a vegan diet is deficient in certain nutrients. In particular, people are concerned about my iron and calcium and vitamin B12 and vitamin D levels. As for vitamin D, simply going out in the sun will give us sufficient amounts of vitamin D, and living in sunny San Diego, California, that isn't a problem for anyone, vegan or not. For calcium and iron, I eat a lot of salads, a lot of dark leafy greens. Things like spinach and kale are jam-packed with nutrients like calcium and iron. And for every other nutrient, I just make sure to eat a wide variety of fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds. That way, I know I can thrive. As for a third and final misconception I hear is that, Michelle, it's great that you're vegan, and I've always wanted to be one too, but quite frankly, vegan food is just plain bland. And this is also pretty far from the truth. Here's some pictures, and I'd just like to see a show of hands. These are your classic, like, American comfort foods, right? And I just want to see a show of hands. Who out there would probably think that maybe more than half of these foods are not vegan? Yeah, so it's a pretty good guess, right? But actually, it turns out that all of these foods are vegan. And this was shocking to me when I first went vegan. I was like, oh, I'm just going to be eating rabbit food all the time. But it turns out you can take any of your favorite comfort foods and make them vegan, and make them delicious too. I mean, look at this and tell me to my face that vegan food is bland. So hopefully I've cleared up some common misconceptions that you may have had about the vegan diet, and maybe now you're wondering, how can I go vegan? How can I do it successfully? If there's anything that I've learned through these past 3 years, it's to simply eat the rainbow. We hear all the time that fruits and vegetables are so good for us, and every fruit and vegetable has a different nutrient, a different mineral in it that is good for us. So as long as we're eating a wide variety, like carrots with beta-carotene for our eyes and blueberries with antioxidants for our immune system, we'll be sure to be healthy. And I challenge you to eat a meal of fruits, a meal of vegetables. Eat as many as you want until you feel satisfied, and you will feel satisfied. These are the best foods on the earth for you, and personally, I feel great on them. And as for incorporating more vegan foods into your life, if there's anything I can say, it's to simply take it one meal at a time. Take a breakfast and make it partly vegan. For example, when my dad found out how bad milk is for your health, he started replacing his breakfast Cheerios and milk with breakfast Cheerios and soy milk. It's as easy as that, and before you know it, you'll be vegan. So, if there's anything that you've learned today, I hope that it's vegans do get enough nutrients, in particular protein. And vegan food does in fact taste delicious. But most of all, going vegan is crucial if we want to save our earth, the animals, and our own health. Really though, we can save the world one vegetable at a time.